Welcome to the Cisco Corner for another short narrated story. And today we have a bit of horror and suspense. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe.
All my life, I have spent moving from place to place, following whatever orders my parents throw around. We first started in Texas, to only be moved to Hawaii, then Alabama, and the list goes on and on and on. My dad was the main reason for all of our moves, so mom and I, like good little soldiers, we just followed along and did as we were told. But life is not all bad. My name is Timothy, but I go by Timmy, because even though I am 16, I'm only 5 foot. I try to make the best of it. At all my new schools, I try not to get in too many fights. I'm not much of a fighter, but I'll make them laugh. The hardest part has been maintaining the connections with friends. But for me, anything is possible. At my new school here in Florida, Haven Heights High School, I've made a girlfriend named Jenny and a small group of friends, Gerard, Eric, and Ashley. But good things sometimes have to come to an end, which is why as a final farewell, before I move yet again, we will do something special. None of them are the nature kind, but I love to be one with Earth. So I convinced them for us to all go on our first and I guess final camping trip. Now all that is left is just to prepare. I made sure to pack food, tent, fire starting equipment, plenty of rope, and my family bowie knife that has been passed down for generations. The knife contains all the power of all past owners, passing it on to me. Or at least that's what my grandfather told me. Now it was the night of the camping trip, and the air was electric. The soft dew on the grass glistened in the moonlight, and all you can hear is the soft crunch underneath all of our weights, as if the earth was announcing our presence. We were now entering a realm of wonder, where danger and mysticism blend into a single entity, wonder and fright becoming indistinguishable, the voices of the wind becoming recognizable, the moon setting the perfect stage for not a farewell, but to solidify brotherhood and bonds. Jen cut through the noise of nature. How much longer? It feels like we have been walking for an hour. I replied. Well, not much more. About 10 more minutes and we'll be there. Jen grabbed onto my arm, tighter than ever, as if she knew that in one way or another we would always be connected. Eric, Gerard, and Ashley followed close behind Jen and I, carrying our own supplies until we finally reached the clearing. It was as if a long time ago an asteroid had landed here and left a perfect circle in the woods where no trees grew.
Hey Timmy, how did you find this spot?
Eric asked. Do you guys really want to know? Let's set up camp and then I'll tell you guys, I replied. We all set up our tents, a camping stove, and ate some boxed mac and cheese for our rumbly tummies. Gerard and Ashley gathered wood, while Jen and Eric gathered tinder. I sharpened my knife with a whetstone and took out seats for all of us to sit down, made sure all the tents were staked out as well in case it was windy or storming. We gathered around the wood and tinder and set a fire. The fire danced to life. It grew as if wanting to touch the world around it, if only for just a moment. Gerard brought out graham crackers, chocolate, and marshmallows so we could start roasting s'mores. That's when I told the story. This spot, long ago, had a shed owned by a woman, a witch to be exact. This witch would kidnap the neighboring kids, lure them with candy and promise of toys. At first, she would play with them, tire them out. But once the kids wanted to go back home, now that is when the real games would begin. At this point, the air was standing still, so quiet you could hear everyone's skin crawling as they looked at me while I told them this tale. So I continued with the story. She would start by tying their hands and feet together with barbed wire. The more the kid would struggle, the deeper the barbed wire would pierce into their skin. She would sit there and watch them squirm for hours. This is what she called the marinating process. Next, once the child was nice and fearful, she would take a spoon and scoop both eyes out, and she would shovel them in her mouth one at a time, the crunch spewing all the liquids into her mouth. "Oh my god, Timmy, you're freaking me out. Is this a real story?" asked Ashley, to which I replied, "But wait, it gets better." I let the atmosphere settle, the fire crackle in laughter as they all looked at me in anticipation. They were letting their marshmallows burn, so I continued again. The witch wasn't done with the kids at this point, though. They only wished she was. After eating their eyes, she would shave all of their hair, pull all fingernails and toenails, one by one, making sure there was nothing to sully the meat. All this to bury them and cook them just like an underground pig roast. It was said that the smell would travel to the nearby town, which eventually led a mob of angry parents here. As punishment, seeing what the witch had done, they decided to tie her up and burn her house down before burying her and all her property. On top of her body, on top of her property, is where we are camping tonight. On still nights like this one, they say you can even hear the kids moaning in pain as they roast underground for the witch to eat. The air grew colder. Everyone was visibly nervous. "Ha, you're so full of shit, Timmy. Almost had me going there, what? You brought us out here as a blood sacrifice? Get out of here, you loser," Eric said as he tried to appear tough. Jared added, "Well, on that note, I think we should get some rest so that tomorrow we're ready to hike and explore these woods." Everyone looked at each other and finished their s'mores and started to lie down in their tents. In our tent, while laying down together, Jenny turns to me. "Timmy, I can't sleep. All I can think about is the witch and those kids." So I told her, "It's okay, babe. How about we go for a walk to get your mind off things and maybe tire you out? I'll even ask the others if they want to join us. How about that?" Jenny hesitated at first. "In the middle of the night in these creepy woods? What if someone or something is out there?" I bravely responded, "Well, that's why I brought my knife. I'll protect us." Jenny reluctantly agreed. "Fine. If you really think it'll help me get to bed, I'll wait here while you get the others." I stepped out into the night with my knife, and after some time I returned. "What took you so long?" Jenny asked. "Well, I was trying to convince the others to come, but to no avail. But hey, they'll be with us in spirit," which I replied to her. We stepped out of the tent and into the dark wilderness with just 2 flashlights and my knife, and nobody knowing what might be waiting in the dark. We had been walking now for what seemed like 15 minutes. I, of course, broke the silence. "You know, Jenny, even though I'm leaving, it doesn't mean we can't be together or see each other often." "Timmy, that will never work. You don't even know where you're moving to yet. I really like you and I am having so much fun with you, but with distance in the way, I don't know if I can promise you anything." Jenny looked at the ground as she spoke. "It's okay, Jenny. You don't have to promise me anything. You'll see what I mean once I show you." I slowly pulled out my knife as I talked. "Timmy, what are you doing with that knife? Timmy, why is the knife red?" Jenny's shock shook the air. "What do you mean, Jenny? I'm just making sure we stay together forever." "Eric, Gerard, even Ashley are already here with us on our walk. It's time for you to join them, to join us, so that we can all be together forever." I approached Jenny with my knife in my right hand, staring right into her trembling eyes. "Timmy, stop!" Jenny yelled as she started running back to camp. The 15-minute walk now felt like a 2-hour run. I don't understand. Why Jenny was being like this. Does she not want to spend the rest of her life with me? It doesn't matter. She'll see what it's like living with all the other friends I have made. When I have my knife, we're all together, a family forever. I saw as Jenny reached the tents. Jared, Eric, Ashley, Timmy is lost and please help! Someone help! I could hear Jenny frantically yelling, and I got there just in time to see her with all 3 tents open. She had found Eric drowned in his own blood from having his throat slit. Ashley had died from getting stabbed multiple times in her abdomen. And Jared, I cut his throat so bad that his head was attached by a flap of skin. Jenny stepped back in horror. I reached Jenny and hugged her from behind. It's okay, Jenny. You will see. I slowly pressed the knife against her lower back. I pressed and pressed until finally her skin granted me access. The blood flowed onto the knife as if her essence was flowing into it. I pressed again and again and again and again and finally, Jenny's with me. Jenny's with us. Forever. The next day, we were on the road to Montana, listening to our family tunes, when an emergency news report came through.
4 Florida teens have been reported missing by their parents. They were all friends and attending the same school of Haven Heights High School. The missing kids have not been confirmed yet to be linked to the recent disappearances of other teens in the state of Hawaii, Texas, Alabama, and many others. If any
My parents cut off the radio station. My parents looked at each other as if they knew something I didn't. My parents never talked to me, but that's okay, because I always have my friends over.
Thank you for tuning in. Let me know what you think. Until next time.